You're watching Tennessee in 10, your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.
Tennessee in 10, I'm Amanda Hara at WSMV in Nashville. We're following multiple breaking stories right now. We're going to start with a statewide search for a guy accused of trying to kill 2 police officers. The shooting happened in Laverne, just outside of Nashville. This was Saturday, and you can see some of the stunning video behind me. It shows officers moments after they were shot. There's one on the ground. Then we're going to see another on a stretcher surrounded by first responders. All of this played out before a life flight landed nearby to take them to Vanderbilt. Now, this is the man accused of shooting them, and he just so happens to be the estranged son of Nashville's police chief. John Drake Jr. is now on the TBI's most wanted list. He's considered armed and dangerous, and a $2,500 reward is on the table for information that leads to his arrest. Now, police say Drake shot these.
We came inside, took, like you said, stay in, lock the doors. It was like 100 police cars, 2 helicopters, drones. It was wild.
So police say Drake shot one of those officers in the groin and arm and the other officer in the shoulder after a struggle where they say Drake pulled out a handgun. Laverne police say one of those officers is already back home this morning. The other is still at Vanderbilt, but is expected to be okay. Again, the suspect, the son of Metro Police Chief John Drake, he says he has not been a part of his son's life for years, despite efforts and guidance in his teenage years. He hopes that his son is found and held accountable.
Good morning. I'm Whitney Turner in the WVLT newsroom. Right now, fugitive Sean Williams is still on the run. The 52-year-old is charged with more than 20 counts of child sex crimes, including rape. Officials say last Wednesday, while officers were transporting him from Kentucky, he kicked out the van's window and escaped near the federal courthouse building in Greenville. The TBI is offering $7,500 for a tip that leads to his arrest. Well, today, family and friends will say their final goodbyes to United States Army Specialist Jeremy Daniel Evans with full military honors. Evans was killed when a military transport vehicle he was in rolled over during a training exercise in Alaska earlier this month. Today's service follows a memorial service yesterday for Specialist Evans.
Jeremy was the type of guy that if he was your friend, he would go above and beyond what was necessary. And it's my understanding one of his brothers in arms said at a memorial in Alaska, he was, and I quote, the friend that no one else deserved.
Today's service is taking place in a private ceremony at East Tennessee State Veterans Cemetery. A Knoxville man is recovering this morning after surviving 3 days in an embankment after a motorcycle crash. Taylor Boyle was reported missing last week. That's when his friends and family started searching for him. One group, searching at night, found his motorcycle when it reflected off their flashlights. They also found Boyle, who was still alive. Friends say Boyle took a pretty hard hit to the head and dislocated his elbow. He's still in the hospital this morning, but is expected to make a full recovery. In the WVLT newsroom, those are your top headlines around East Tennessee.
And we now know why a FedEx plane crash landed and then skidded off the runway in Chattanooga. This was earlier this month. Tough to forget this video of that precarious landing. You can see sparks kind of flying out from under the plane there. Now the NTSB says the plane's hydraulic system and wing flap failed just after takeoff. The flight crew decided to turn the plane around and try to land, but then their landing gear wouldn't come out, so they had to land without it, causing that crash landing. The plane skidded about 800 feet past the end of the runway, but nobody on board was hurt. A former Tennessee baseball player is accused of murdering his father-in-law. Pitcher Dan Serafini was a pitcher in the MLB and played for the Nashville Sounds. This was back in 2000. Police say surveillance video led to his arrest. It shows someone walking around his in-laws' home in California before the deadly shooting. His mother-in-law was also shot, but will survive.
Good morning. I'm Taylor Tucker with Action News 5. Here are some of the top stories we're following in the Mid-South. Memphis rapper NLE Choppa is talking about his brief disappearance over the weekend, sending many into a panic. On Friday, the 20-year-old rapper's mother and manager went viral on social media after posting her concerns for her son's whereabouts. He posted a 26-minute video on his YouTube page. assuring the public he was fine and his mother was only anxious that he might have been in danger. And a critical blow to the Grizzlies lineup ahead of Wednesday's season opener against the Pelicans. Steven Adams is out for the entire season due to a knee surgery. He's getting work done on his right ACL after injuring it back in January. It was originally supposed to keep him out for under a month. Then the timeline kept getting pushed back, and he never played again last season. The team opted to go with rehab instead of surgery going into the offseason. And things looked good when the team came back for training camp. Adams was practicing and played in the preseason opener, but the stability in the knee was not there. So his knee surgery is expected to keep him out for the season. We're wishing him well this morning in his recovery. Those are your headlines from the Mid-South.
All right, a burn ban is in effect in parts of Tennessee, including in Lawrence County. That's where this fire is burning. Crews had to deal with this over the weekend. A brush fire scorched more than 100 acres. And then look at this image. Bradley County also dealing with a series of brush fires like this one. Conditions persist. Drought conditions across Tennessee. Low humidity and windy conditions are creating the perfect recipe for a bad fire. Here's meteorologist Stefano DiPietro.
Unseasonably warm and dry weather is expected across the state through the remainder of this week. I know it's only Monday, but we're looking ahead just to see how warm things are going to get. We'll mix clouds and sunshine as we head through the remainder of today. 78 Nashville, 82 out in Memphis. Knoxville will be at 72, 76 in Chattanooga. A lot of these clouds should be high in the atmosphere, so the sunshine should still break through. A few more clouds tonight. Not as chilly tomorrow morning. We were in the 50s and 60s, a few 40s out in East Tennessee like Knoxville, but the afternoon is looking a little bit warmer. We'll be back in the 70s to near 80, actually in the 80s out in West Tennessee. Memphis at 84, Tiptonville 83. We'll sit right around 80 in Nashville, 75 Knoxville, Cookeville at 75, and Chattanooga at 77. We really do need some rain, though, across the state. The drought conditions have just gotten worse. Severe drought now across southern Tennessee. Elsewhere, it is mainly a moderate drought, if not abnormally dry conditions, and with very little rainfall expected the remainder of this week, those drought conditions are expected to get worse.
All right, Stefano, thank you. And thanks to you for joining us for Tennessee in 10. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning with all your big headlines from across the state.
You're watching Tennessee in 10, your news and weather across the state in about 10 minutes.